Hey, perfect guys. So today I'm going to be talking about mini swings. This is one of the what I would consider one of my secret weapons. Okay, why do I consider that one of my secret weapons? As you guys have seen in the email, whenever I need a short infusion of cash, or whenever I needed something that I wanted to put a large sum of money in. So you guys know I day trade, but I'm not about to put 50K, 80K to one trade, at least not yet. But I'm 100% comfortable putting that much amount of money in a mini swing. Maybe it's my psychology, maybe that's just how I'm wired, but I feel like I feel more comfortable when the money, especially those large amounts, grows over time. Okay. So that's what this is about. I'm going to show you guys how I do it, what I look for, and how it works. Okay. And at the end, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. And I will give that to you guys, okay? I will send it to you. So let's go ahead and do it this way. Um, Let me stop the video real quick so the Wi-Fi will be better. Okay, guys, so swinging is one of the purest forms of trading, okay? The person who taught me how to trade, he was a huge swinger as well. And I don't want to keep saying swinging as if I'm on something. Swinging options, guys, okay? And you let time work for you instead of against you, right? You guys know one of the biggest things I'm big on is leverage, okay? And this allows you to have more confidence in the markets, as I'm erasing the word confidence, okay? So who's this really for? Okay, guys. So if you're trying to get into the market, let's say you're new and you don't want to be watching screens all day, or you just want to let your money grow. If you're working 9 to 5 and you have other responsibilities, you kind of want easy plays. And if you're day trading, but you want to maximize your earning potential, this is one of the things that I do. So I would day trade, but I also swing as well. Okay. One of the biggest things I did with this was maximize golden goose, you're funny. Was maximize my 401ks. Okay. So if you have a 401k that's not performing, or you want to take some of
Golden
it and actually
Goose.
multiply it yourself, this is one of the best things to do with this. Okay. So here's the big idea. You want to swing reputable companies. Okay. Only companies that have
Golden Goose.
huge reputation. What's up? What's up? What's up, bro? I see you. But yeah, you want to swing companies that have huge reputations, companies that have over 100 million in market cap. Okay, you want to be in swings for short-term frames, nothing more than a month. You want to be in that trade. Now you can pick a contract outside of a month, but you never want to be in a trade longer than a month. Okay, usually my average trades with these are literally 3 to 7 days. Okay, 3 to 7 days. And my goal is 50 to 100% profits, and I rinse and repeat them. Now, the thing about these swings that I take is that I research them heavily because I'm always looking for the most highly effective trades that put me in the best position to win. And I rinse and repeat them. Okay. So, first of all, what are we actually swinging? We're swinging options. Okay. And number two, all of the contracts that we swing are all out of the money. Okay, they're all out of the money naked options. And I want to go to the chart and show you guys how to do that here in a second. Okay. And number three, of course, only put up what you're willing to what you're willing to lose. That's a disclaimer. Okay. Um, only put up what you're willing to lose. That's it's obvious to do that. Okay. And then the brokerages I use is Thinkorswim and TradeStation. The reason why TradeStation sometimes it gives you a better feel on price. So I might see a price on Thinkorswim, and I'll hop over to TradeStation, and the contracts are a little bit cheaper. Thinkorswim is known for having notorious fills as far as prices. So these are what I do with them. Okay. So here are the steps. Okay, you want to identify a demand zone and trendline breaks specifically on the daily 8 hour and 4 hour time frame. Okay, and if I have to emphasize something, it will be on the daily. Okay, the daily time frame is super important for swings because when you swing on the daily, then you're in the trade for a day or two. When you swing on the monthly, then you have to be willing to stay in that trade for a month. When you swing on the weekly, you have to be willing to stay in that trade for a week. So a lot of my swings are based on the daily 8 hour and 4 hour time frames. This is how I get into my trades. Okay. So I'm trying to be in and out within a few days. Okay. Number two, okay, make sure that your weekly time frame doesn't negate anything that you're seeing on the smaller daily time frame. And I'm just going over the steps by steps here so you guys have it. But I'm going to hop over to the chart and show you actually how I execute this. Okay. You want to get out of the money contracts with the most volume and open interest. Okay, that's number three. Out of the money contracts with the most volume and open interest. And matter of fact, there's a website called optionscalculator.com where you can calculate how much money you'll potentially make on a swing trade if it goes your way. Okay. You want to monitor it daily for 5 to 7 days, and you want to take profits when you're at 50% or more. So I'll be transparent with you guys. When I'm getting to these type of trades, I'm looking for 100%. I'm looking to double my money. Okay, that's what I'm personally looking for. But 50% is a good benchmark if you want to start taking profits there and say, hey, I'm new to this. 50% is good enough for me. And this is why I'm comfortable putting larger amounts of capital in these mini swings, because I know the profit target I'm looking for within several days can be 50, like I said, percent or higher. So I'm going to demo it for you guys. Okay, I'm going to do a live breakdown, and I'm going to share Thinkorswim with you. And I'm actually going to break down a Facebook trade that I took. Okay. So Facebook is Meta. And this is the first thing you guys want to do. The first thing you want to do is that you want to go to the daily chart. Super important. Okay. This is the trade I actually took. Okay. Right here. This is the trade I took. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how I took this trade in Meta that made me 105% in like 6 days. Okay. I just want to show you when I took this. I took this trade in February. And this is when Meta was kind of reaching all-time highs. The first thing, as I told you guys, I always look at the daily chart first. That's step one, okay? Number two, after you look at the daily chart, you want to see whether there are any trend lines that are available. So all I could see back then was this. This is all I could see right here, okay? So what I did was draw this trend line. So I'm going to remove it. And a demand zone, okay? So we had gapped up, and this area was holding support. Because this is on the daily. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 8 days where this area had been holding. So all I did was draw a simple trend line from the top to the bottom, just like that. That's literally all I did, okay? And once I did this, there's something I was looking for. I'm always looking for us to break the trend line to the upside. You see, we broke it on this candle right here. Once we break it, okay, I will always enter. That's number one. Once we break it, I always look to enter my starting position into that trade. That's number one. And if there's a retest of that same trend line, I then add size. So my first entry is once we break it. My second entry is if we come and retest the area. Now, you don't have to add a second entry to it. But if you notice, as soon as I got in here at 475, we came down to about 462. And this is why having the demand zones pre-drawn were very helpful. As you guys can see, I drew these demand zones on 2.6. I entered the trade on 2.15. And as it came down, I added size here on 220. And when we got this pop up to 490, I had a 511 call. I remember. It was a 511 call. It was 3 weeks out. And within 1, 2, 3, 4 days, we were $10 away. So in about 4 days, I doubled my money and I cashed out of this position. That's literally all I'm looking for. Very simple transactions, okay? We look for a gap up. A trend line can be drawn. Once we break the trend line, I'm entering that trade. And then I'm waiting several days for it to pop up. Now, the few days, if you saw 1, 2, 3 days after I got into the position, it was not looking good, okay? You have to be willing to let the positions rest at least a week. Okay, give it a week, which is what I did. And by the next week, boom, I was up 108%. I literally could not believe it. But it works over and over and over again. And you can do this with any stock, okay? NVIDIA, for example, okay? I have not done anything on NVIDIA, but this would have been a perfect example of how I could have swung NVIDIA so many times. I'll give you a perfect example right here. Okay, this is NVIDIA. We came down to this area. All you have to do, draw a trend line. Okay, this is why I enter as soon as we break the trend line, because sometimes we don't have a pullback. Sometimes we go straight up. If you had entered NVIDIA contracts on the 3rd of June, by the 6th of June, you probably would have been up 100%. And you can see it happen over and over and over again. So these trend lines on a larger time frame are super critical to getting into these trades. But here's the caveat. They have to be on reputable companies. Okay, there are 5 companies I do these on. I'm going to let you know. Okay, here's another place where I could have potentially done a mini trade. Look at that. Trend line, a trend line here. I'll wait for the break above. See, we broke above it here. That's my entry. 1-2 days later, we popped up, okay? So that's why I say watch these trades every day. Sometimes it happens fast. Sometimes as soon as you get in, the next day you're up 50, 75, 100%. That's what I look for these mini trades. And if it comes down, I'm going to give it at least 7 days to work itself out. Because look, 1, 2, on the 3rd day, it dumped. But on day 4, 5, 6, boom, new highs. So usually when it comes down like here, I'm adding more size, I'm averaging in. Or just leave the original position. It doesn't really matter. And then look, 4 days later, we're up, okay? And I could do these on several different companies. And I'm going through the companies right now on the ones I actually took another one on Netflix. You guys see it here, okay? The reason why you're seeing it on these charts already marked is because these are the trades I take. We broke it, we retested it. Oh, perfect entry. We broke it. Let's say you got in here at 545. In the next 2 days, we went up literally 10%. The stock itself went up 10%.
And then they get to keep it.
When the stock goes up 10% like this, the options, especially in the short term, they're going to jump 50, 60, 70%. But here's the key. You cannot swing. You cannot choose contracts 6 months, 6 years out. Yes, pretty much a bull flag trade. Yes. Okay. But on a daily time frame is where I like to look for these. Here's the caveat, okay? You always want to choose trades on the 3rd Friday. What do I mean by that? On the 3rd Friday of every month, okay, contracts roll over. So for example, this is June. The 3rd Friday of this month is it today? Is today. So I wouldn't choose June's contract. I would choose July's, which is the 19th. You see it's grayed out, okay? So let's say I wanted to swing Netflix, like I just showed you. Okay, July 19th is only 2-3 weeks out. Perfect amount of time. I love it when my swings are a month out or less. I always choose those. Okay. One thing I'm always going to look for is out of the money contracts. What do I mean by that? Okay. It means I'm not buying a contract for 3,300. No. I'm going to see the whole options chain. Let's say things going to go up. I'm always looking for the place with the most volume and the most open interest. Okay. So at the money, you see the biggest volume is here, 2,000. Okay. I will look for the next biggest number that I could afford. So for example, I might not get this one, the 700, but what I would get is this one right here, the 720s. Okay. Are you guys seeing why? Or over here, look at this, 844, the 800s. So I will literally swing the 800s for $5 a share, and I'll hold it for 5 to 7 days and let my money double. Yes, I usually select monthlies. Okay, every third day of the month. There's very few times I select weeklies, but most times I've selected monthlies. Okay, so you're picking out of the money contracts, usually 4 weeks or less, and you're choosing ones with the most open interest and the most volume. Open interest is the amount of people buying the contract in total. Volume is the amount of people that bought the contract today. So this on Monday will say 1,000. This on Monday will probably say 900. And this on Monday will probably say 2,800 because you add the volume and the open interest together. So I'm always looking out for discrepancies in these. And that's the ones I usually buy. Okay. All the way down to 25 cents, but that's way too far. I'll probably choose something that's right in the middle. The one we just saw for 844 will be perfect. Where is it? Right here. This is probably the contract I'll be buying if I was swinging Netflix. Okay. Does that make sense how I picked that contract? Type it in the chat. Let me know. Does that make sense how I picked that contract? Yes. Okay. So you're always choosing the ones with the most volume, the open interest. And I don't like to get in the money. Okay. People pick in the money because they think it's safer. But by choosing that safety, you're actually decreasing your earning potential. Out of the money moves a lot faster. So I'll give you an example. Imagine this stock starts to go up, right? This stock starts to go up rapidly. It's going your way. Most people are not going to be buying here because here is going to be in the money. What they're going to be buying is these contracts right here with the most volume and open interest. Okay. So if you can spot them early and I'm into them before anybody else, before the momentum starts, you put yourself at a massive advantage. And when the money floods into those contracts, your premium starts to jump. Sometimes the stock doesn't have to move up. It's a mixture of the stock moving in your direction plus the amount of volume entering your contracts. Okay. So if you've ever heard how we turned $300 into 30K with Amazon in 2 months, this is exactly how we did it. We're picking out of the money contracts in the long term that have a lot of volume and open interest. And we're literally looking at the chart and say, hey, once we break this, guess what? I'm going to swing. So if you ask me, like, okay, I had 2K to put into a trade, I wanted to swing it. Well, this is going to cost me $500 per trade. I'll put 1,000 into this. Okay. And then maybe I'll average it. So now I'm all in 2K with 4 contracts. I double my money. Now I'm in 4. Okay. When you get comfortable with this, then you can get like me, where I put in 30K into these, 50K into these. Okay. If you have a 401k, you don't want to, your money's moving too slowly. These are one of the best ways to multiply your money rather quickly in a short amount of time. Are you guys tracking? So what are the steps? Okay. The steps to pick contracts. I'm going to tell you right now the 4 or 5 stocks that I swing. Okay. For you guys to take a note of. I only have personally done these on these contracts, on these stocks. Write them down. Number 1, Amazon. Number 2, NVIDIA, ticker NVDA. Number 3, Meta. That's Facebook, okay? Number 4, SPY. That's the S&P 500, okay? Number 5, gold, ticker GLD. Okay. Number 6, Netflix. Number 7, BA. These are the 7 most popular stocks that I always look for these mini swings in. Okay. Netflix, Boeing, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, SPY, Gold. Oh, I forgot Google. And Google. These are it, guys. Okay. If it's not one of these 8, I'll probably stay away for now. Okay. Suggested starting capital is up to you. Is whatever you want to start with. Like, it's totally up to you. Okay. There's some things that make more sense than others. I'll give you an example. This, if I was actually going to swing this, I will probably be buying. Where's that one with 800? Where was it again? I'll probably be buying the 800 one. If I was to actually swing Netflix right now, this is the one I personally would be buying. Okay. I could do this one over here for 730. It depends on how much capital you have, but I like the one over here because it has more volume and is a little bit cheaper. Okay. So this is the one I'll be choosing. I don't necessarily want to go all the way down here. I try to avoid being the lowest price. I try to avoid being the highest price. I like sitting somewhere in the middle because what that means that when volume is coming into the market, when the rest of the market is buying these contracts, you're going to be getting a huge boost in your premiums just because a lot of volume is coming into them. Okay, does that make sense? So that's what I want to be doing there. Okay, so that's how you pick these contracts. Remember, you don't want to be more than a month out. Okay, your contract shouldn't be more than a month out. The reason why you don't want to be more than a month out is because the shorter contract term allows the volatility of your contracts to move fast. Okay, so it's a mixture of the volume coming into the contract, the stock moving in your way, your direction, and the short-term nature of the expiration of the contract itself. That's what helps you double your money pretty quickly. Okay, the longest I've been in one of these is literally 2 months. That's the longest. And what I do is something called a risk-free play. Now I might have shared this with some of you guys before, but let's say you get into one of these swing trades and you make 105%. You bought two. Well, you can sell one and have your original capital back, and then you let the other one ride as long as it possibly can. Okay, Jeff, you said gold is forming a bear flag now. Let's check it out. Okay. So that's what I call a risk-free trade. Okay. You guys see here I did it on gold too, right? So this is not me just making stuff up. This is stuff that I actually do. You guys can see my trend lines on the daily. So right now on gold, would I be swinging gold right now? Probably not. So I see the bear flag on gold. What I would do is something like this, okay? Just so I can show you. I'll show you what I'll do right now. I'll draw a trend line, just like this. And the reason I'm doing that is because gold has clearly been on an upward trend. And if you want to do, see that trend line right there? If we break this, I'm swinging, okay, for sure. Here's another short-term trend right here. So yes, if you want to swing gold once we break this level, yes, that would be a decent trade to swing, targeting here, right here. This area of consolidation, this little demand area right here. That will be it. So people say like, hey Josh, how do you know whether this trade is going to be 100% or 300% one? It depends how much room there is to the next level. So if we break this, I know the next level is not till 204. And if I wanted to swing gold puts, okay, same time. Right now it's what, 121. Well, the market is closed, so it's not really showing the true prices. But 126 will not be what I'll be doing. I'll probably be looking for this one right here. See how this one's like 2 cents? But a lot of people are buying it. Look at that. Something like this, what I'll be looking at. Okay. A lot of volume, a lot of open interest. This is what I'll be interested in. And this is what I mean by when you're in this is a perfect example. Let's say we were in gold puts before when this was 5,000. Okay. Now it's 7,996. In one day, the contract size doubled. Double the people came into this in one day. This is what makes this mini swing trades work really, really well. When you're already in a position and you have huge volume come into the contract like this, your premium is going to skyrocket. Sometimes you're going to notice that the stock hasn't even moved up that much. You're like, how am I up so much? The stock hasn't moved that much. It's because there's a lot of volume comes into your contracts, you're going to get a pop very, very quickly. And look at how a lot of people entered these contracts on one single day. Today on Friday, a lot of people got in here and held it. So when you can recognize these plays with a lot of volume ahead of time, and you sit in there, you're putting yourself in a huge advantage. Okay? And that's why I like doing it on the daily, because I'm waiting for these trades to happen within a few days, a week max, 7 business days max. So let's say Meta, okay? I might do something on Meta like this. As you guys can see, how many times I swang Meta. I swang it here. It worked out so well. I swung it again in March, right? And you can literally, even on a short-term trade, on a short-term basis, because you want to be in and out of these trades within a couple days. As soon as we got in here on 4-3, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6, 4 days later, boom, you'd have doubled your money. All because you know how these work. And it's literally all trend lines. It's very simple to draw. You get in as soon as we break, and you leave your money in there. Right? That's how it works. Even right now, it could be a bear flag for me. So this is something that I might personally be watching. Hey, are we going to break 507? Are we going to break 507? If we break 507, I might be interested in a long here, another mini swing trade, targeting 515, 520. Or at the very least, targeting all-time highs at 531. Are you guys seeing how this works? That's what I think about BA. Okay, let me see. So BA has been dumping. So right here, actually, BA might not be a bad move for shorts. Okay, we broke down, we retested it, okay, and we rejected that retest. I would have gotten to shorts at 178, targeting 159. So that this would not have been a bad mini swing for shorts. Okay, and the thing about it, specifically with these companies, I like to look at the history. The last time a trend line like that was created, did the move I want actually happen? So the last time there was a bear flag like this, did we actually fall? And if we look at it on a daily, here's an example of one here. Okay, we broke it, we retested it over here. I can zoom in for you guys. We retested it over here, and as soon as we retested it, we rejected, and we flushed over the next several days. So if I was watching BA today, and I was looking at a mini swing, I would have went short right here. I would have went short at 177. Profit target 159, 160. And you see how simple it is, guys? It's not super complicated. You're just looking at the history of the stock. You're looking on the daily. Specifically, that's one of my favorites to look at. And you're picking contracts with the most volume out of the money, and you just let it do its work. Okay? You want to give it at least 7 business days to do it. And once you're up 50% or more, you're golden. Once you're up 50% or more, or you're golden. So that's the mini swings, guys. That's what I do. Any questions on this? We can go to Amazon too. See, Amazon's already looks like it's already forming right now. Actually, look at Amazon. See, if I was paying attention to this, I would have gotten to Amazon today as soon as we broke at 186. Knowing that this also is a little mini demand. Yes, Apple is one of the ones that I do as well, 100%. I mentioned Apple. Okay, Apple's one of the ones that I do as well. See, one thing I always say about the stock market is that the stock market repeats itself. If you see, look at this in Amazon. You guys can see I did it on Amazon as well, right? And I did it here as well too. The thing about the market is that it repeats itself. If I've seen a history that this particular stock respects trend lines, then I'm going to do that. So the stocks that I'm giving you guys, they respect trend lines. I've looked at the history, and you can map it out yourself. Okay, I'm expecting a huge move up. At least we're going to take out those highs. That's what I'm expecting, based on what Amazon's done in the past. And I would have gotten in at 186 as soon as we broke this, and I'll already be up. Okay, I drew this trend line. When did I draw this trend line? Let me go on the weekly. I drew this trend line. That doesn't mean that's probably, did I draw it in March? No, I couldn't have because it touched here. Okay. So I drew this trend line whenever I drew it, and I was just waiting for the break and retest. And that's your entry right there. We broke it. I'm probably getting in somewhere around here. And look, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 days, we're already up. Okay. Around 5 days, I'm taking profit. That's just me because I'm usually up over 100%. Okay. So what I'm looking for is the pullback down here. And then a push back up. But I leave money on the table. Like, look at this move up. I will leave money on the table, and I'm okay with that. As long as I'm getting into the trades that I like. Okay. So any other questions about this? All right, guys. So that's pretty much it, guys. So I know somebody asked for the recordings. Armani asked about Wednesday beginner classes. So when we have somebody to do that more regularly, I will update you on that, Armani. Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I saw your question. So any questions about this?
Yeah, Josh. Is there a best a best time to enter as far as like morning or afternoon? Or are you just strictly looking for the break
As soon as it breaks, I enter.
Okay.
As soon as it breaks, I enter. That's just what I do, personally. And I do that knowing in mind that we might come and retest. The reason why I don't wait for a retest, because a lot of times with these moves with volume, because of the larger time frame, it just keeps on moving. So I'll usually enter half of my position on the first break, and I'll leave half of my position just in case I want to average it.
Gotcha.
That's just what I do, right? So you can get 100% in those 5 to 7 days. Those are pretty much the stats. So I'm going to write down the stocks I do this with, guys, so you can pay attention to it one more time. Okay. So we have Apple, NVIDIA, Netflix, gold, BA. Is that the 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. SPY, Google, and Meta. That's pretty much it. Those are the 8 that I usually swing trade. There's some others I swing trade here and there, but that's pretty much it. As far as that's concerned. So I know you guys asked for the recordings. If you email me, I will email me back in the responses. I can send this to you. So that's pretty much, I can answer any questions you guys have. As far as next steps for this, what I actually have, let me scroll down here. Okay. Wow, it is still there. Thank you. Okay, guys. So the live breakdown. So next steps. Okay. So I'm doing